Welcome back. What's our working name this week?
The Sopranos.
The Sopranos. Does one of us get shot at the end of this podcast? That's what I have to ask on that.
No, but we do get a therapist.
Do we start with the therapist? Didn't The Sopranos start with the therapist?
I don't know. I never actually watched it.
Neither did I. I was,
yeah, right.
I mean, it's like,
if by shot at the end of this you mean we're taking shots at the end of this, then yes. If you mean getting shot by a gun, then we'll see how the night goes.
Oh boy, you know, trivia ain't nothing to fuck with. I guess
It's not. We're not as smart as we were like 2 months ago.
So The Sopranos.
The Sopranos.
Our working title of the week. Sopranos.
The Italian news station.
Wait, I'm Italian. Are you?
No,
I was gonna
say. I'm not even proud of how long it took me to come up with the Sopranos as like an Italian stereotype for news.
I think next week I'm gonna go with mine, but so this week Sopranos.
Yeah, the Sopranos.
So pilot number 2. Oh man. What is your nationality? I'm off the rails already.
Honestly,
but that's good.
I should probably 23andMe because I know I'm a mutt. I've heard Irish, Swedish, and Norwegian are the 3 that I've mainly heard.
I could see some Irish in there.
Yeah, because I mean the drinking.
Yeah,
The slender. I'm pretty thin. I'm tallish. I'm average height.
Tallish.
And, I'm taller than your average lady.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, right.
I go that.
Yeah, I'd be.
You are taller than my girlfriend. Yes.
Yeah. And your mom.
Yeah. Most people are. My mom's only like 5'2".
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
Thank God someone.
Don't have to explain that joke.
I was like, that's kind of oh yeah, well, I sleep with your mom, and I'm all, thank God, man, she could use it.
Yeah, right.
She could have a good. I mean, you took care of her, right? That's all I care about.
Right. Like, tell her to text me less. Okay.
Oh God! But another week, the world turns.
It does. It is. It was an inauguration this week.
Oh, dude, that's literally the core of a lot of my shit this week.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It
dude.
has nothing to do with any of that.
Excellent. I was hoping one of us didn't fucking like slam into that because I fucking did.
No, I that's perfect because all of mine is like because I heard about the inauguration. I heard about TikTok, but it just so happens that like I don't care.
And that's why we built the podcast so much about this, right?
Yeah.
Because that's how much we fucking care, right?
Yeah. Well, and honestly, I think if I have a weird, and I realized this week.
Yeah.
The more I actively want people to know that I don't care, the more I care. Because I really was sitting there like, this is the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. And I can't wait to talk about it.
Makes sense. I don't know what to tell you there. The thing about the TikTok was so anticlimactic. Like,
yeah.
I think my favorite meme was on TikTok when I went to go check to see if it was even up. And the first video that came up was like, all right, it was a SpongeBob SquarePants meme. It's like, all right, you guys, you did the crime. You got to do the time. And SpongeBob and Patrick walk into the cell and they're like, all right, come on out. That's
essentially what happened.
It really was.
Because do you use TikTok?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I don't really. I obviously used it during COVID because I was bored.
Right. Yeah.
But then COVID ended, and I was like,
stuff to do.
I don't dance.
Right.
I don't have marketable visual skills, so I don't. Yeah.
His podcast.
Yeah, right. There's a reason why when some podcasts they videotape themselves, we don't.
Exactly.
And it's not because we don't want to. It's because you don't want to. Like you, the listener, do not want to see what happens.
We're definitely a medium made best for audio.
Yeah,
video.
definitely. But back to TikTok. Yeah, no, I it was one of those things that I was like, I don't care about this enough to even have an opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not even on my list of like I want to know what's going on.
So the core of what happened, for those that want to, the TDLR did not read the manual, or too long did not read. The core of it was because it was linked to Chinese nationalists or the Chinese government, that it became an issue in security. People having access to a lot of American users' data and how they could possibly use that data to find out passwords or mimic people or blackmail American citizens. This was the core of the whole idea behind it. And that kind of missed the mark for me because I felt we have the same problem, but we have Americans doing it.
That was
Facebook.
I was about to say only other Americans can steal our data.
Only Americans can steal Americans' data, right? The fact that China's doing it, now it's a problem.
Yeah. Well, and my question is like, is this all speculation or is there actual proof that anything has been stolen?
Speculation.
Okay.
I mean, there might be a little more proof in the pudding than I'm giving away. I'm just saying there's no smoking gun.
Gotcha.
There's nothing where I'm like, this person was shot and you saw Yao Ping on the gun.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I get it, I guess, if you've invested a lot of time into making content.
Mm-hmm.
But there's so much social media right now, I don't really see the need for what I know about TikTok, which is like short videos, and you can just swipe, you can follow specific people, and you can just swipe through those videos, and they're very short. And
well, they're missing the mark. They're looking across the sea and using xenophobic means to cover a real problem, which is companies and governments are using our data and removing our privacies. That's the reality of it. Meta, Twitter X, whatever you want to call it, they're all ad companies. Their entire job is to figure out how old you are, what you're interested in, and making sure the ad you next watch is going to make you buy that next piece of whatever.
Yeah, and I do get it on principle because it on paper it's fucked up. And in reality it is fucked up. But also it's been happening for so long now that I don't care. Like
but here's the thing. I want you to have that choice.
Yes.
You don't have to care, and then that's fine.
Yeah.
But this idea of obfuscation and massive user agreements and EULAs and all this shit that comes out that no one can read or understand. Like, people have put prizes into EULAs for people to read it. If you respond to this email, we'll give you money just to prove someone fucking read the thing.
Yeah.
To that end, I agree. I really am not the most private person.
Yeah.
But I do agree with the idea that our government's first job should be to protect our privacy at all means. And then we should be the ones that are allowed to give it up.
Okay. So so you are for this getting rid of, let's call it Chinese TikTok?
No.
You are not for it.
No, I am not for it. I'm saying it's a misguided attempt at xenophobia. What I am saying is I want to pull that back and say social media as a whole, no matter who makes it, China, Japan, the US, France, any country, Antarctica. I want a across the board rules of ethics companies will engage with US citizens based on the idea of protection of privacy and rights.
Gotcha. Okay.
Period. It shouldn't be about China.
It should. Okay, so you're saying. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like the principle has nothing to do with the fact this is happening in China.
Right.
The principle is that there's a really fucked up thing people are doing with our information. Doesn't matter where it's happening.
Right.
It's just that we should have the right to decide who gets our information.
Right.
Okay.
And they should be held, and every one of them should be held to that level of
Gotcha.
ethics.
Okay. So.
And transparency.
Gotcha. Okay. So. And I think I want, because I did do a lot of research on Edward Snowden in college.
Mm-hmm.
And his whole thing was that Americans should have the choice to decide whether or not the information the government is gathering should be in any way gathered without consent.
Mm-hmm.
And, now he's, I think last I heard he was in Russia.
And he might still be there.
I know.
Considering everything else that's going on, I'm actually the Snowden story has been very quiet.
Yeah,
it's a good point, right?
And he was, there was no pardon that I'm aware of. There was no like, come back, we love you.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, and that was what, like 2016, 2017 that went down.
No, it's got to be before that. I think I was still working at Microsoft when that all started.
Okay,
so that had to be somewhere between like 2011, 2012, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, because and that for me was the moment where it was like, either this matters or it doesn't.
Right.
And I think the majority of the American people decided it didn't. Like, because nothing happened with it. I mean, he obviously, he...
Well, I don't know that nothing happened with it. I
should say there were no major overhauls to the way the government handles our information that has been given to or at least covered in the time since Snowden.
Okay.
Because I have not heard anything. I assume anything I use, anything I do, anything I say
is a police song.
Yeah.
So, to that end, do you think that's because people don't care or they don't know? Do they not realize? Ignorance is bliss?
Gotcha. Like, I watched this movie Awakenings this week, and they talked about that. They were like, we believe this because the ulterior is, like, unfathomable.
Right.
It's awful. It's beyond, and so I think there's probably both. I think that there's definitely an ignorance is bliss, but also I think there's like until it affects my daily life, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm as guilty of that as anyone I know, because I will not do dishes until I run out of forks.
And now I need a goddamn fork.
Yeah, and whether everyone's like that or not, I do think there's a certain amount of like, oh, if you don't like it, go live in the woods.
Right.
And then of course you get a bunch of people to go out into the woods with you and live with you, and all of a sudden you're a cult. in Waco! Waco's gonna happen again, okay?
I feel like Waco might have had a different context, but
you're right. It wasn't the woods; it was the desert. But you see where I'm getting at it.
Well,
it's it's at least a very odd societal thing to do, to be like, I am done with all of you.
Right.
I'm done with, internet, social media, cable, smartphones. I'm going to go live in the woods. Because that's really the only way I can think of to get away from it.
Yeah, okay. Let me ask this, and then we can move on, because we probably get a couple other topics to get to. The core of that, which just came to my mind now, and so it's just off the top of my head, the idea that why do we have to believe the only way we're safe is if we live off grid? Is that a mindset literally set by everything we just talked about?
Well, so safe is an interesting word.
Because why would you want to live off grid?
Yeah, because for me, I know I would not be safe living off the grid, specifically because I have no skills.
Okay. Yes, that's a whole different
I
safe,
live in the forest. I'm like, I think I could maybe last like a week.
Right.
Before, and I am always hungry. Like, and so I can imagine like a day of like me hunting for my own food and then me just being like, nope, I'm going to sit here for 6 days and then I'm going to die. Like, I'm not even going to try again. I get so dejected so easily that I'm just like, I didn't kill any bears today. I have, with my sharp stick. And so I'm giving up on eating and I'm just going to die in 6 days. That's how it's going to go. That would be. So for me, living in the woods, not a safe alternative. Me living in society, I mean, and Lord knows I have so many thoughts about living in society, but for me at least, it is, I think
podcast in itself.
But then again, I'm like, okay, so how many, like the movie Red Dawn?
Yeah.
Where they, the whoever invades and then these teenagers go and live in the woods and there's like 3 of them that have like skills and then they have to teach the rest of them. And I'm like, okay, if that happened, I think I'd be good.
Uh-huh.
Like where if I had someone to show me how to, hunt and fish and forage and do all of that shit. Yes, that isn't, but again, that is also an opportunity to become a cult. That okay. That and again, I'm not trying to say that anyone who lives in the woods with other people is a cult, but they are.
Well, I'm glad we came to the resolution on that.
Yeah, right. Me too. Honestly, I feel good about that.
Excellent,
I feel good about you either die an American or you live long enough to see yourself join a cult.
Die in a cult. You too can be Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or no, it was Manson. Dahmer wasn't a cult. Manson was a cult.
Or the
My apologies.
The Unabomber. The Unabomber lived alone in a cabin in the woods.
Right. So, also not a cult. Unless a cult of one.
Yeah. I mean, I don't talk to him often, so I can't tell you.
Yeah, dude, I can't remember last time I had him over for dinner.
Yeah, right. I mean,
he hasn't come around as much lately.
Yeah.
I wonder what the fuck's up with him.
Yeah, he's in prison.
Dick.
I mean, I assume, a difficult dinner guest, but like, a lovely singing voice.
Oh yeah,
like
totally.
Like a nice soprano.
Like an angel.
Yeah, like an angel.
So what other news you got?
Okay,
Spence?
so I
other than our friendship with the Unabomber that we've just made up.
Yeah, right. And Ice Cube. Ice Cube was the other close friendship that we have with someone who's not.
Hell yeah.
I saw him live.
Why did the first thing that jumped in my mind? Ice Cube. He was in 21 Jump Street. Yeah. You better. Just like, don't you dare say that underneath Korean baby Jesus.
Hey. But no. So my big story this week, and I literally sat up in bed when this came up, was that a French woman,
the Undertaker, just
like literally, like dong.
Someone give me paper.
Yeah, someone. Was that a? So, we talk a lot of shit about the media on the show. Okay.
No.
I know. In this case, I agree. This is something that absolutely needs to be covered. But I want to talk about the people involved because they're so fucking dumb. So, a French woman says an artificial intelligence Brad Pitt scammed her out of $850K.
I've only heard the high level of this.
Yeah, so first of all, I have so many thoughts about this. One of the important things to keep in mind is that this woman was 53. Which in my language is old enough to know better.
I mean, that's only 6 years ahead of me. That's not that old.
Yeah, like I'm like
for me.
This is not like if this was an 89-year-old woman, I'd be like, okay, like but
there's something else going on. Right?
Yeah, like dementia. I'd be
Right.
like, this person gets a pass. They were scammed. And if this 53-year-old woman donated $100 to AI Brad Pitt, I'd be like, you know what? That's not that much.
Someone's got to pay for that AI.
Yeah. Whatever it is, I'd be like, this is not news, but $850,000 on someone she never met in person. She left her husband and gave Brad Pitt 6 figures, AI Brad Pitt 6 figures for his hospital bills. Like,
what?
Like, right? Like, the
hospital bills?
Yeah, apparently.
I didn't know this part.
Yeah, no, apparently he was ailing, you know. He was not okay. Like, not, and I'm also like.
Fucking Paramount take all his money?
Yeah, right? Like, I'm like.
Angelina took all my money for our adopted kids.
And apparently this AI convinced this lady that she should divorce her husband. And obviously they had some kind of romantic relationship, if you can even call it that.
All online, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like,
not even like a voice chat? Or,
I can't imagine there was one. I mean,
or a video chat?
Yeah, like, because that's my thing. If I don't see, I mean, I'll give
at 850,000. There's going to be more than just a video.
Yeah,
call.
right.
There's going to be something physical involved.
Well, and of course, another question I had immediately was like,
holy shit,
how lonely is this person?
They were married too.
Yeah, and they were married. So like literally anything about this person.
Get couples therapy.
Like I'm like, there were so many moments in this that could have been so defensible. And she threw, and it was like, well, was she lonely? No, she was married. And how do you know that? Because she left her husband. How much money did she give? $850K. This wasn't like $20. She gave $850,000. Well, how old was she? You know, she had to either be 8 years old or 100 years old. No, halfway, split the difference, 53. Like zero deniability, zero defensibility. I was just like, oh my God, this is a perfect storm of,
oh my God,
are you fucking stupid?
Oh, that is terrible.
Now, in a response to this, and this was very important to me that I go and take the time to do this. Okay, because
Spencer doesn't take time for anything.
I know, right?
Perfect.
It's literally this and
this
alcohol.
is how important it is.
Okay, I made a GoFundMe. The cause: Spencer is not Brad Pitt. Okay.
Did you get $850,000 yet?
I am asking for a total of $100. Okay. I'm willing to get more, but that was the goal I went with, was $100, a nice round number.
And did you put things in there like, I will not make you leave your husband, I will not make you pay for medical bills?
Hold on. Okay, I went full on this, okay? So I did a picture of Tyler Durden from fucking Fight Club
yeah,
and put my face over it. Which took longer than I'm proud of to figure out how to do that. But I was so hell-bent on being like, okay, most famous Brad Pitt movie. Fight Club.
Fight Club.
I'm like, I think there's a good argument for Fight Club.
Meet Joe Black's also up there. I mean,
no, I haven't even seen
Ocean's 10.
Oceans, yeah, maybe the Oceans movies, but
I think Fight Club's probably but it's like I have the book, I have it signed by I was just trying to think outside like my own
or Seven.
Oh,
my favorite
Seven.
My favorite Brad Pitt movie, Seven.
Burn upon reading or whatever
that was. Burn after reading. Yeah,
Burn after reading. Yeah.
But and I say this, and I assume everyone who's listening knows that I am not Brad Pitt. Okay? And I think that's a fair line to draw, is that anyone who is listening to this is very aware that I know a few things about Brad Pitt, but I am not him. Okay? And that's why you should give me money, is because I'm being honest about it, okay? So, I did make a GoFundMe page. If you look it up on GoFundMe, it says contribute to the cause. Spencer's not Brad Pitt. We're trying to raise $100 because I am unemployed as fuck. But I will read you my synopsis that I wrote. Okay.
All right.
Okay. This is the description. When you click on it, and this was the about, and also it was like, what kind of a GoFundMe is this? And I just wrote creative. That was the only one that came up that I was like, I don't feel like I'm lying if I write this. But this was the synopsis I came up with, was It's a scary world out there. Europeans are being convinced that artificial intelligence is impersonating 6 celebrities. So I feel it's important to be transparent and raise awareness. I am not Brad Pitt, nor have I ever claimed to be him in any state of existence. Whether in sickness or in health, I am honestly not Brad Pitt. And I think more people should be aware of this. If anyone feels inclined to financially contribute to my not being Brad Pitt, any donation helps the cause. If you cannot donate, please share on social media or tell your friends and family. It's important to get the information out there that Spencer Rock is not Brad Pitt. If you have any follow-up questions, please contact Edward Norton or have him contact me.
Oh, man.
Seems like a cool guy.
Yeah, you know, he's good. Though I'm not Edward Norton, so I can't say.
Right?
Oh, God.
But yeah, so this has been like the last 3 hours of my life is making this GoFundMe page and just fucking I posted it on Facebook, Instagram. I hardly ever post on social media, but I literally was like, this is so important to me. Everyone needs to pay attention. And so far, in the last 3 hours, I have gotten 0 likes and $0.
As you should.
I know, right?
I kind of want to put a quarter in there, just
I know, right?
25 cents.
Yeah, I'm like, if you have 50 cents to donate, for 50 cents a day, I could keep not being Brad Pitt. Starving children in Africa cannot be Brad Pitt for 50 cents a day.
Of the angel. Sorry. You need, Sarah McLachlan to do your background. For 50 cents a day, you two can make sure I am not Brad Pitt. Oh, fuck. Wow. Why is that the middle one? I feel like
we should have waited till the end for that. I really had, I was like, if I've been sitting on this for 3 hours, I've been busting at the seams trying. I told my mom, I told my girlfriend, I didn't tell you, well, I told you don't look at my Facebook. I want you to hear this from me.
It's true.
So that was it. I was like, I am. And I even told my girlfriend, I was like, this is my magnum opus. This is the most beautiful thing I've ever done in my life. Okay? I made a GoFundMe for myself because I'm not Brad Pitt.
God. Oh, man. Okay, so... okay, I'm good. So the last thing I wanted to talk about, and let's not get into the whole... And maybe it's something we can look at next week as we look at everything that they've done with executive orders.
Okay.
But I did want to talk about, over the last 2 presidencies, how much these kids are playing around with pardons.
Yeah.
Did you hear what Biden did in the last day?
I didn't hear about the last day. I mean, I heard he pardoned his son, which he said he wouldn't do.
Right.
And
which
then he did.
That was a while back.
Yeah.
On the he's sitting there, it became news. They're sitting there going through the whole 3-ring circus of bringing Trump in. And it comes out that there was, I hate the but Biden had completely pardoned his whole family and a bunch of people, his wife and all kinds of people, just out of some thing they were worried about with whatever Trump might do coming into office.
Gotcha. Like the Hillary emails.
Yeah,
where it was like,
something like that.
This isn't great. It's not a huge deal. Mm-hmm. Let's make sure that, Okay, so it was kind of one of those things. Where,
right.
Okay.
Do you think I wouldn't be surprised if he had pardoned his dogs for biting Secret Service men. I swear to fucking God.
Well, did he say what it was that he pardoned them for, or was it just they're pardoned?
Pardoned.
Immunity, yeah,
basically any crimes that could have been committed or whatever. It's like get out of jail free card. If she had run down the street just shooting every Republican she could on her way, pardon it, I guess. I don't know. But my whole point of it is I feel like they've lost the way with it. Like the whole idea of this is someone is on death row or has done something for American service where it comes to a president's attention that someone might be in a bad spot and the evidence doesn't point it, but
Yeah.
Public opinion says, why are we doing this? Gives the president that last executive order to say, like, nope, we get it. We understand what the law does, but we're going to pardon you because look what you've done for us or something like that. And it's become this thing like, and you're pardoned and you're pardoned. That gum you put on the chair, you're pardoned. I mean,
everyone's pardoned.
It's become a thing where I'm worried. Well, I guess I'm not. I guess I'm not worried now.
Yeah.
That they're going to do something to change this. So
I have a few thoughts on this.
Yeah.
And it is interesting. It's a very 21st century.
It's such a D&D min-max bullshit.
Yeah,
like,
well,
I'm just going to pump this.
Well, and here's how I
use my powers.
So, in the 20th century, it was very easy to keep your family shit under wraps, especially for the president.
Yeah.
So on one hand, I'm like, are they going to JFK this? And like in 40 years, are people going to find out like all this terrible shit he did? That was my initial thing of like, I'm going to start a countdown clock of like 40 years. And when that countdown clock goes off, we're going to find out that Joe Biden and his family were like fucking cannibals or something. Like something awful that you'd be like, what? Even if you're a president, you can't eat people, kind of, because like, with JFK, where it was like, he was fucking all these women.
Right.
No one was talking about it because, at that time, a man's business was a man's business.
Mm-hmm.
And then 40 years later, it came out and everyone was like, this guy was the best president we've ever had. And now we find out he's like this fucking porn star.
Have you ever watched Oliver Stone's Alternate American History?
Yes, I have.
Whew, God. Turns out Nixon might not have been as bad a president we thought he was.
Yeah, well,
what if he just let fucking Watergate go?
Yeah, and honestly, that was the next point I was gonna bring of like how far we've come from the I got caught red-handed doing something, and now I'm going to give up the presidency.
Right.
As opposed to now where it's like I haven't been caught yet, but I might get caught later. And not only am I going to not give up the presidency, I'm going to pardon my whole fucking family.
Right.
And it's such a pendulum swinging the other way of like, we used to have standard, well, and there's also it was so easy to get away with shit back then. And we just don't have that anymore. And it's like, as a culture, at what point do we say, we know too much about the president and the president's life to be making opinions about every goddamn thing they do.
It's interesting. It's
and that's a genuine question.
Right. I get it.
I can't draw that line. I know that there are certain things that come up that I'm like, I mean, and that's the whole basis for this podcast is, and especially during Trump's first presidency, it was daily. He did this. He tweeted this. He said this. He watched this. Blah, blah, blah. And it was just like, I don't care. I mean, I get why it's part of someone's job to maybe care or at least produce shit like that. But for me, it's like, oh my God, never in my life has anyone cared what I tweeted while I was taking a shit at 3:30 in the morning. And
well, part of this, especially during Trump's, he just go off on social media. He'd been the one that posted, I took a shit.
Yeah. No, and I mean, I could do that now. I mean, I talked about Drano just the other day and taking shits.
Yeah.
And it's like, at what point, and I'm not trying to humanize anyone. I'm not trying to have strong opinions about anyone, but there's a level of quiet in my life that I'm having right now when it comes to politics that I did not have during the last Trump administration. Because it used to be just, again, daily bombarding. But I do think that that's something to keep in mind at all times is at what point is this just someone having their own life? And even if you despise Donald Trump, and I have my opinions on him, and I don't really care to share them just because I don't care. Like he aside from what I see on TV, I don't know the guy. I've never met the guy. He obviously has his stance on things.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. You know, well, and you know, that's my feeling about most politicians and most celebrities, where I'm just like, I've never met him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm not going to pass judgment on someone I've never met. Like, I'm not going to be like, how could Donald Trump be a good father? It's like, I've never seen him around his fucking kids.
Well, that's probably why he's not a good father.
Yeah. I mean,
but just to try to rein it in for a moment, though, the core of it comes down to, and I kind of see your point, where the idea of what used to be considered just my business is now public business, and maybe that's why we're seeing this. But like, we haven't seen this level of pardons, or this, what I would consider, this is some of the most pardons we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
I think the last time we really saw it was Roosevelt time frame.
Which Roosevelt? FDR?
Freddie, I believe.
Teddy.
Yeah. Sorry. Thank you. I'll have to go back and double check that. I can bring it back for next time. But I don't think there was like, my family's free and this one's free. And we can go through the rest of what Trump's doing with the January 6th people next week.
Oh yeah, God.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that, but yeah. Oh, that's gonna be fun to talk about. But no, I do think that it'll be interesting to see it, because I mean, in to play devil's advocate for what I said earlier, this could just be Joe Biden making sure his family's protected.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they haven't done anything, and he's just taking care of his. Obviously, Hunter Biden is Hunter, right?
Yeah,
Hunter.
Yeah,
obviously,
you're right.
He's well known for having some kind of drug problem.
But we're that worried about it? They got to use a fucking presidential order of pardon?
Yeah, no, and I agree. It's a bit. It does seem a bit concerned. It seems like a petty response to potential pettiness.
Yeah.
Like, for lack of a better term, it seems like
if we already weren't a laughing stock with our current leadership, what is this doing?
Well, and also I think it's a huge middle finger to the, judicial system.
Right.
Of being like, I don't trust our government system to handle me, the president's son, fairly in the future. So I'm going to pardon him.
Right. Well, I mean, what are you going to do? And this is fact. This isn't me coming off on a rail.
Yeah.
We just elected a convicted felon.
Yeah. No, and it's
criminal, not felon. Criminal.
Yeah. And that's
what's that mean for us?
Yeah. No, it does. It says a lot about
when I was growing up as a kid, and when I learned about what you had to do to become a president, this was unheard of.
Oh, yeah. No, and well, unfortunately, I believe I was born during the George H.W.
Oh, yeah.
I think. And then the first president I actually remember was Clinton.
Yeah, mine was Reagan.
Yeah, so and it's been it's an interesting time to grow up, because
there was one before it, but I remember.
Yeah,
Reagan.
but it's snowballed so much since Clinton.
Yeah.
Which is,
it's true. You're right. That is a good turning point to think about.
It's good and bad to me, how much it has snowballed, because there are people who need to be held accountable. That is undeniable. There are people who need to be held accountable. There are issues that people need to be held accountable for. But I will point out that Bill Clinton was not what was it? Was not impeached because he cheated on his wife.
Mm-hmm.
He was impeached because he lied about it in court.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a difference, because a lot of people to this day don't realize that's why he was impeached.
Oh, true. Yeah,
people think he was impeached because he cheated on his wife with someone in his cabinet.
Right.
And it's like, no, those are two very different things.
Right.
But you, as a consumer of if you don't know the difference, that's on you at this point, because it's been 30 years.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
It's like, if you don't know the exact facts, you're just going with what the media told you, that is on you.
It's true. And John Benet Ramsey will never be the same again.
I met her.
I want to get into the rest of that stuff, but I think it would be good for next week.
Okay.
I would like to let this digest and see what happens over the next week of time.
I do have one thing that
totally.
is...
We can go into anything else. I just didn't want to go anymore because I'm just watching what's happening over the week. I think it'd be better to have a little bit more breadth.
Gotcha. Okay.
Especially consider how slow we get information.
Yeah, fair enough. But no, I have one thing that is a bit timely.
Please.
It's going to be an ongoing thing.
Do tell me not Brad Pitt.
It is not Brad Pitt. And I am still not Brad Pitt. For anyone who's at home wondering if I've bleach blonded my hair recently or done a fucking sit-up, I haven't.
I was wondering what happened to your hair.
I know, right? It's a wig. No, so, and this is, it's... I hate that I have opinions on this, but normally I would not. So this is about the Blake Lively and the dude she was in a movie with suing each other.
Oh, okay.
It's like Amber Heard. It's like Her Depp, the sequel. Like it really is, and the whole thing I chalked it up to.
You explain a little bit what's going on.
Yeah, so like they were in a movie together and. This is the
movie?
This is the timeline for. I don't even know the name of the movie. I know that they were in like a chick flick together.
Blake Lively and who?
And they didn't get along. I think that was all it was with the first one. They didn't get along. Movie was released. All that I heard about the movie was that the two leads didn't get along. They did this.
In Justin? No, who? Blake Lively and who was the other one?
Oh God, what is it? I got it written down. Yeah, Justin Baldoni.
Yeah,
Baldoni.
okay.
Yeah. So, they were in a movie together, didn't like each other. They were in the sequel together, and already I'm like...
It ends with us?
Yeah. And honestly, if I do a movie with someone and I don't like them...
Right.
Why do the second one?
Money.
Which, fair, but like...
Yeah, Blake Lively and him, unwanted touching, kissing.
Yeah, so now they're suing each other. They're both suing each other. And obviously there's no doubt something went wrong. You know, this is
right.
And now that I was proud of myself for scrolling past this the other day because it was like
and then you brought it to the podcast.
Yeah, no. This is not what I'm bringing to the podcast. I just saw something about like the text messages between Blake Lively and some dude that, you know, are being, and at that point I was like, I don't care. Like that was the reason I care is because about this specific topic that happened this week is because this dude is suing Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds because he believes the character in Deadpool and Wolverine is based on him.
Oh no, which character?
Nice Pool. and he believes that this character is a direct representation of him in that it paints him in a bad light. And I was like...
And he has him killed for his dog.
Yeah. And I was
Spoiler, by the way.
I know, right? But I was like... You know, that entire... You know, one of the highest grossing rated R movies of all time. You know, this is Deadpool Disney. Hugh Jackman's back.
Right.
You know, he said he'd never be Wolverine again. He's being Wolverine again.
Right.
And this dude thinks we give two fucking shits about a character that has nothing to do with him.
Nice Pool.
Yeah. Like I at no point in this movie was I like, oh, you know who this reminds me of? That dude who doesn't like Deadpool's wife. Like, where do you get the balls to be like, this is slander? That's me on TV. Like no one gives a shit about you, dude. I would love to have that level of confidence in how much of a dick I am that the husband of the person I made a movie with who is suing me made a character based on me and put it into his movie.
This is like one step off the Nine Inch Nails Courtney Love feud.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're so vain.
Yeah. No, and I'm just like,
Oh my God.
And I had chalked this whole thing up to he said, she said, they clearly don't like each other. You know, you hope it's just that and everyone's upset.
Right.
That's what you hope for. Obviously, it probably went a little farther than that. I don't know. I didn't read that far into it.
Right.
It really was only when this dude is throwing his own name around for Deadpool.
Throwing shade at the Deadpool movies.
Yeah, where I'm like...
That's a step too far.
I'm like, you can say whatever you want. You keep Deadpool's name out of your motherfucking mouth, okay? This is not about you. But also...
Or Brad Pitt.
But as soon as he does this, as soon as he and I'm sorry, I'm like, dude... This makes you look so guilty. Like the fact you think that anything over here has to do with you. It's like, well, no one, it's like Welch's grape juice, okay? They market themselves as 100% juice.
Right.
And I'm like, yeah, I assumed that this juice I'm buying is indeed juice.
Well, you got
but as soon as, I am buying juice and someone's throwing in my face, it's 100% juice. It's like, well, now I'm not sure. It's kind of defensive. I didn't ask. That's kind of how I feel about this guy, where it's like, no one fucking asked you, dude.
I hate to be the bearer of bad news. This definitely sounds like just lawyers getting involved where they need to stay just the fuck out of it.
Oh, probably.
Like, you know what? We'll go after the Deadpool movie too. Yeah. And what else can we get our fucking hands on?
No, and you're right. It's probably really good for the lawyers' careers to do this and push this as far as it is.
Right.
But I will be so proud of this guy if in 30 years he's like, no, I was a fucking idiot. Like, I knew that wasn't about me.
I was never in Deadpool.
Yeah, right?
The only person in the Deadpool movies that deserves any kind of true, compensation is, oh, man, I forget his name. Who played Gambit?
Oh, Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum.
Yeah.
Finally got his character. It took him that long just to watch him get wiped out in the first minute. He has grievances, period.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. He's got issues. And he should.
Absolutely. They fucked him over this so many times.
There's only one blade. But no, I had to get that out. I had to talk about this story.
No, that was perfect.
It's fucking... I want to have this level of... I think that I am so influential to these people's lives. No one gives a shit. I don't even remember this dude's name. I said it 5 minutes ago.
I had to go look it up.
So,
well, see, here's what I'll say. Now we're going to come state's evidence on this whole thing. Thanks for that.
What?
I mean, we're probably the only ones talking about it. TMZ.
That's fair.
We're the world's worst TMZ.
Yeah, no, honestly, this might be good for our careers to be talking about.
We're going to be so excited when we get our summons.
Right? They're like, this is slander. And I'm like, sorry, bud, were you in the movie?
Right.
I didn't see you. Is that you? Or does that look like Ryan Reynolds? Honestly, if he sued them and was like, The Ugly Dog was based on me, I'd be like, okay, that's fair.
I could see that.
Because he's being a total bitch.
He fucking loved that dog.
He did. And it's like... But anywho,
That's brilliant. I think that's perfect. I think that's a good way to roll it out. Yeah. Spence, another good week?
Another good week.
All right, brother. Next week?
Yes, sir.
All right, see you then.
See you then. I'll bring what is it? What did the guy carry into what's-her-name's office? Didn't he have a bottle of something on January 6th?
Pitchfork. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll bring the pitchfork. You bring the big horn helmet.
Horns, yeah. Oh, yeah. He had that lance thing over there. Oh, God. I don't want to talk about that, Shaman. Bye.